So when you change a law after someone may have broke the law, what does that mean as well? If it didn't mention something specifically before, right? Well, you, from that point on, right, make it so, right? If someone broke that rule before that time, right, they didn't know it either, right? See, if you knowingly commit a crime, right, this is the point about that too. And the other person isn't breaking the law themselves too. See, what you're telling me is the man was working his 15-year-old daughter underage, right? And even though he couldn't work her yet, was trying to make her work anyway, one way or the other, right? And because of that, she lied to me about her age and told me she was 37 and didn't have proof she could even do the job on the site, and then seduced me in the office, right, into sex with her to cover what her and her dad were doing illegally, right? Oh. I see what you mean now, right? So that's my fault. How? Right. I'm not Jesus Christ and can't tell the woman I just met she had 7 husbands or 5 husbands. I have to ask a girl I meet her age, right? Like most normal men, right? I never said I would even know who you meant, right? Or implied I'm omniscient to know if a girl's 15 or 37, right? When during the first few minutes of our encounter to do my nails, and she started with my feet, so I remember that part of the encounter, right? And asked her name, age, where she was from, right? Where she was born, things like that. And she said several things. She was from New Jersey, name was Michele, 37, and was a college graduate, even, right? Now, people, if they're gonna make up a story, don't follow it with those details, right? If they did something more with the woman or not, right? So after I get out the store, I realized I lost time and was in the store an extra hour and started trying to figure out if something more happened with it being the woman, right? And why I don't quite remember what happened, right? Which is still on whoever was controlling the store, right? More than me or the girl, even, right? And he started telling me she was really 15, right? And we have been arguing about this beforehand that a 15-year-old can't do that job of mine. Simply put, she's too young to do that kind of work, right? And nobody in the nail tech business has any business working a 15-year-old girl in that job, right? Whether you're from Vietnam or Africa and you like doing nails, right? No one can work a 15-year-old girl in that job, right? Because there's hazards that make it illegal at her age to do the job, right? And among them, bacteria, she can be exposed to, right? Chemicals, right? Off the top of my head, and sharp implements, right? Even the nail clippers, right? Because she's 15, right? It's illegal for her to use them just yet. Just yet. Like hedgers or any sharp implement that can cut me or her. And expose her to if I had a bacteria myself and didn't know it, right? or she picked it up from a customer earlier that day, right? And gave it to me, right? Or a fungus, right? Right. Like two nail fungus, right? For example, right? So those three conditions, plus if she can't leave the premises, right? Alone make it illegal for her to do that job, right? Now, there are, if you get the permission, ways a 15-year-old might could do the job, but you gotta have that permission on site, right? Or at least specify to where if someone was to come in from the child labor services, right, and wanted to check on the age of the person doing the job, they had the documentation to do the job, right? And then the girl wouldn't have told me she's 37. Me ask her for her ID or something and not have it, right? From New Jersey or Georgia, right? And she has to have a social security number to work, right? Even at 15, right? And her birth certificate to work, or Georgia ID, right? To work, right? She needs at least two of those things, the birth certificate and security card, to work in the first place, right? Or she can't do that job yet, right? Now, if she has two of those things, like I said, right, usually you can hire her with the permission slip right, from the child labor services to do the job, right? Now, what are the conditions, though, for those certain rules to be broken, right? Or allowed to work that job, right? One of them has to be she wants to get her GED, probably, and not finish high school. Right? Well, again, if you want her to finish high school, she's got to wait another year till she's legally 16 before she can start being trained in that job, right? If you want her to graduate high school, for example, right? Or not, I don't know, right? I just met her that day, so I don't know her plans, right? Or your plans for her, because I just met you well. Anyone I saw in that store for the first time, I never encountered any of them before I stepped into that store, right? And the only one interacting with me is the girl herself doing my nails, right? And she didn't tell me anything about being 15 years old, right? To begin with, right? So you're telling me when I asked her age and she said 37, she was really 15, right? Like I'm supposed to know that either way. Mm-hmm. All I can do is ask her if she has ID on her, right? Like a Georgia driver's license or a New Jersey driver's license. She's from New Jersey, right? She can have either or, right? If she don't have that, she's got to have a social security card, right? And if you don't have a social security card, you got to have a Georgia ID or a birth certificate from New Jersey or Georgia, right? Right. She has to have proof of her age to even do the job, right? So already, if he's working her at 15, the man letting her work in the store is the one breaking all the rules, right? Not the new customer coming in for the first time trying to get his nails done. That's not how that works. And I should sound like an idiot to have to explain it to you why a mentally ill person knows this and can understand this, but you can't seem to understand this. No. And aren't mentally ill. Or so you say. By the way. Maybe you're a different type of mental ill person who don't give a damn about your 15-year-old daughter and why she can't yet do that job. If that's the kind of man you are, that's your fault, right? To even let her do the job in the first place. And you're breaking the rules of Georgia child labor laws, not me. I don't know this girl. Even after I went in and interacted with her for about an hour and a half. I only did so hoping to find a girlfriend old enough to be with me, and she said she was 37, which makes it legal. To be with her or not, right? With or without ID, right, by the way. If she made it, she's why she didn't have the ID as well. So all I know is she's working in Georgia. When I went to the store. And has to have these permission slips, right? Either way, right? To be hired to do the job. And I'm not the one trying to get her in trouble if she don't either. I would tell her that too in the office if she didn't have her ID, right? Well, I'm not the one trying to get you in trouble, dear. The one who's working you is getting you in trouble. He ain't supposed to work you at 37 or 15 without proof of ID, right? Or proof of age, or right? Himself. So she also at 15 or 37 is learning that whoever is working her illegally, right? And she ain't supposed to do the job either, and should either, contact him and leave the job site, right? If she's 15 or 37, she can be there still. So if she stays and keeps doing my nails as well, I have no reason at 37 to question her any further, right? Even if she left her ID at home or whatever excuse she gave, or we went up to the office to see if she had the paperwork, right? Or something, right? To do the job, right? And all she's got to do is say, well, my boss must have left it at home, right? And I don't know, he didn't, right? See, she's making an excuse for her boss who she's not supposed to do the job with, right? Yeah. If 15, right? So whoever is telling me all this on YouTube is trying to make me more responsible than the man who's illegally working her in that job, right? When I know she's not supposed to be doing that job, and I'm not trying to get her in trouble, right, for doing it. He is. It's then on him, not me, right, to make sure the person doing the job is legally able to do the job or not work her if she's not, right, able to do the job, right. And it's as simple as that. That is what made the girl tell me the wrong age in the first place, obviously, right. Since she didn't just say 15, 16, 17, or 18 years old, 37 is a specific age, which should be verifiable either way, right? The day I went to the store, right? Or she can't work the job, right? And she needs to go home, right? And not even keep doing my nails, right? And call the person who made her work today, right? And going home. See, that's the other option if she didn't do something else with me in the store, too, right? To further seduce me into thinking she was 37, right? Which is still her telling me a lie. So once the person is lying to you and you're trying to not get them in trouble and believe them, right? The person, though 15, is now manipulating you into thinking she's old enough to do the job when she's not, and you have no way to verify it, and she won't call her boss just yet, right? Or you have no way to confirm or deny she's 37 or 15, right? Though you can ask her, are you sure you're 37, or are you the 15-year-old girl they're talking about to me on YouTube, right? Someone's been messing with me about somebody on YouTube being 15 and trying to work in a job like this, right? Not that I care, right? You know, you're not trying to get her in trouble if she is or not, right? But then, right? But then, right? Right. But then, and then finally she finishes your nails and you leave the store, right? And you find out you're in there over an hour and a half longer than you're supposed to be in there, right? I'll say an hour and 40 minutes or so. And should have been out before your movie started, which was what you planned on that day anyway, right? And obviously something more happened than you can remember, but then the man's telling you she lied about her age and was really 15 the whole time, right? But he also can't work her at 15, right? He's supposed to wait till she's 16, right? So the man and his daughter is then lying to you about her real age to protect the man, right? Right. Not you even trying to get him in trouble. So, is it my fault that he made her work that day? No. Is it my fault she said she was 37 and was really 15? No, I have no way to verify that at that job site, right? I asked her correctly her age, right? With no embellishments of my own age, which was 50 at the time, right? And I had just turned 50 on November 3rd, right? And this was November 7th, and it was about to go into daylight savings time, right? Or fall back, whichever one, right? And again, I had no reason, right, to even miss the movie I missed because I was there around 2 p.m., right? A little after 2. So I'm trying to do the right thing as soon as I stepped into the store. But the girl had something to hide, and I didn't know that during the process of interacting with her. And even after I finished doing the whole process with her, also trying to make sure she wasn't lying about her age or anything, right? And her perhaps seducing me in the office, right? Where she's supposed to have that information, right? And even if she don't, she can say the boss has it somewhere else, right. Once we get out of the salon and go up to the office and she starts trying to do something sexually with me, right, I'm no longer sure of the legality of being with her, but she said she was old enough to be with me so far, right. So if I let her seduce me and she seduces me and knows it's wrong to be with me too, right, who's then manipulating whom? She's manipulating you. She's manipulating me, though 15, right? See, manipulation involves lying to the person you're with so you don't get in trouble yourself, right? Because you're doing something wrong. But you also tell her if she's 15, all she's got to do is do your nails and we're fine, right? She does that too, right? Right. All you got to do is do my nails until we complete the job and then we can leave, right? But if you keep me over the time, right, and I know we're only supposed to be in here so long, right, and I miss my movie or something, right, I'm going to know you tried to seduce me too, and I'm going to say something about it, right, is what you tell her as well, right, because I can only legally be with a 37-year-old woman as well, and a 37-year-old woman working at this job wouldn't need proof of ID either, but a 15-year-old girl does, right? Need proof she could do the job even, right? Including certain IDs, right? certain permissions, right? Because it's illegal for you to work here right now, right? What you need to do is, if you're underage, call your dad and go on home, right? So you don't get in trouble, right? Because if you seduce me and then you interfere with my memory of it, you're getting violent too, right? You're supposed to know not to do that to a customer who just came into your store either, right? Usually a 37-year-old woman, even working in a nail salon, don't seduce her customer into sex, right? But if she is, she can because of certain other things, right? If she's a single woman, too, right? That's something else you ask her. Are you single or married, right? If she says single, you can be with the 37-year-old woman, right? If she says married, you again, no, you can't, right? And that's what you try to explain to the young person who don't know she's not supposed to be in that situation, right? As to why she's not supposed to be in that situation, right? So you're still trying to do the legally right things, even if she starts coming on to you like she's a 37-year-old woman, right? And you actually have sex with her, not sure of her real age, right? And you're just alone with her, believing her story, right? Then, right? That's not coercing her into sex. That's trying to talk to her out of it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would think so. I would think so. And then 3 years later, the man's still on about it, right? Right. Because he knows what really transpired, and you still don't remember what fully transpired, and you told him why, right? So what can you do about it if his 15-year-old daughter seduced you in the office, right? And had sex with you a couple times or whatever, right? The number don't matter once she lied about her age, right? You didn't know she had anything fully to do with it either. More, it was him breaking the rules of working his daughter a year before he legally worked her, right? And trying to blame you like you're supposed to know who he meant, right? And that she was the one he meant the whole time, right? Mm-hmm. When she's not supposed to be there at all, right? Right. See, then one of the other women would have done the meals and there wouldn't be no problem, right? When I went to the store anyway, right? She wouldn't have been there, right? To tip me further, right? Once I started trying to make sure she had her ID and all that, right? From either New Jersey or Georgia and her social security cards, right? And her birth certificate or something as proof of her age being 37, right? Mm-hmm. Which is the only way she can legally work in Georgia anyway, right? 37 or 50, right? She has to have all that information and have done giving it to her employer, right? To even be in the store doing the job anyway. And that's for every person working in Georgia, not just the 15-year-old girl who can't do the job yet because of certain chemicals involved, right? Mm-hmm. And the possibility of getting bacteria or fungus while doing the job, which makes it hazardous to her health, right? I know. And had she simply told me the truth, it wouldn't have happened the seduction either, right? After we got into the office either, right? I was trying to let it go anyway and let her do my nails, right? 15 or 37, right? But she couldn't let it go because she knew her dad was working her at 15, right? And if I told the truth about all that happened, him and her would get in trouble with the law of Georgia, right? Concerning child labor laws, right? So she also may have had a gun in the office and tried to knock me over the head with it or something, right? I don't know. or some kind of weapon, right? After that, I'm guessing, right? As the house, she blacked me out, right? But I don't know if she shot me or just hit me over the head with the weapon, right? But I do have amnesia of what she did, right? Fully. At that juncture, right? I partially remember when I first went in, right? Certain details. Just like I remember what I was doing before I went into the store and after, right? In the movie I was trying to see. Which I had a selection of two that started at 3 p.m. or around 3 p.m., right? Now, does it sound like I don't have my stuff together before I went into the store and after I came out, right? Mainly. Right. Yeah. Sounds like I knew what I was trying to do that day, right? And she interfered with an hour of my time, right? Not me, her time, right? To get me in trouble with her and her dad, right? Uh-oh. So she started manipulating me from the moment she told me she was 37 and knew she was really 15, right? I don't know. And like any customer who meets someone for the first time and don't know she's 37 or 15, I'm still trying to play by the rules I know I can play by, and she's no longer playing by the rules, right? And breaking the rules herself, including blacking me out, where I don't know what happened fully during the time I interacted with her, right? Just partially, right? And I've had partial amnesia before this, right? And I'm mentally ill back in '93. And I told whoever this person is talking to me about it on YouTube as well, so they know I'm not trying to be with a 15-year-old girl either, right? Which is not my normal behavior, right? To be with one, right? At all. Not sexually, not in Georgia, right? The age of consent in Georgia, though, is 16, right? I told him that too, right? So if that's what it means legally, even Miley Cyrus at 16, if he came to my apartment, right, could legally be with me hypothetically, right? Not saying she didn't have a boyfriend at the time or what, right? Either. But in Georgia, she could legally do that, even though she's from Tennessee or California or wherever, right? And those states might have different laws of consent, right? But Georgia says a 16-year-old girl and older, right, can say yes or no to a sex act with a man over 18, right? But 14 to 18 is illegal. There's a new law now that says a 15-year-old, is statutory rape, right? Now, if she sleeps with an older man, right? But there wasn't in 2019 that law. I don't know. When I met her, or I could have Googled it too, right? And showed her that a 15-year-old ain't supposed to sleep with a 50-year-old man either, right? I just try to show her. Right. I don't know. But then she's saying, show me even with the sex. Right. I know. Now, once she started having sex with me too, right, and the age I was told was 37, I have no more way to confirm it or deny it, right? Once we're alone together and she's closed the door, even if she locked the door or not, right? I don't know, right? She's alone with me, right? Right? And if she starts doing things with me sexually and we start making out or whatever, right? And I ask her at certain periods, is it okay with you, right? I'm trying to seek permission, right? Right. From her at 37 to be with her, right? With no proof of her age at the store, right? Anymore. Which is all it means legally, too. I had no proof she was 37 or 15, right? Or even who the person was talking about on YouTube, right? But I'm a little suspicious of it, right? But I still have no way to know that, right? While we're in the office interacting with each other, right? So let's say she has sex with me and I let her be on top and things like that, right? Thinking she's still 37, right? Am I the one trying to manipulate her? Even if at 15 I tell her I wouldn't get her in trouble for doing it, either, right? Am I trying to get her to sleep with me or not? No, not, right? Though if she's 37, and I told her this too, you can be with me, right? But 15, you can't be with no man just yet, unless he's 15 or younger than 17, right? Or maybe even an 18-year-old might be legal for you, right? But not me. So even if she's being told all this, it still says she's 37, right? Am I then breaking the law, or is she? Including after I don't remember what happened, and breaking the rules herself, right? Further than she should have in the first place after I got to know her after entering the store, right? And still remember some of the conversation, but not all, because again, I have a mental illness, right? Which will come into the court. The person telling me all this knew that too, right? But didn't tell me she worked at a certain salon, right? That I was could have went out to, right? And to watch out for a girl named Michele, right? Her name, right? And is this person who knows the girl's 15, right? More responsible than me, right? Yeah, as well. I don't know who this person even is, right? And all I know is they're trying to tell me about this 15-year-old girl working in the store illegally. And I'm just trying to say, well, what can I do about it? I don't know who you mean, right? Over and over again, I keep telling them I don't know who they mean. They're talking about, right? I don't know no 15-year-old girl. What's her name, right? I even asked them what her name is, right? They didn't tell me that. They didn't tell you that. Now, I have been on a dating site called Orchid, where they throw a bunch of Asian women of different ages who looked as young as the girl who did my nails, right? And could pass as one of the girls who were saying they were in their 30s as well, right? Or even 60s, some of them, right? And though some Asians age differently and some can look older or younger as well, like some you can tell that they look in their 60s or 40s too, right? Like with women of ages, right? And some you can't, right? So the girls on the website you're less likely to meet than on already here, right? But you again just say you finally met someone who you might be with, right? And you done told the person you've been having premarital sex, and the Bible says you can if you plan on marrying the woman, right? And I didn't plan on not marrying the woman. I'm single and I can get legally married, right? True. So I was doing nothing wrong religiously or knowingly when I went into her store, right? Or his store, right? If it was her dad's store and he was trying to work her illegally, right? Now, all the man would have had to do is wait another year, right? That would be legal, right? And she probably wouldn't have been tempted to have sex with me either, right? If he had, if he had, and we would have just done the deal. It's like a normal interaction between the client and the customer, right? But because he tried to work her a year too young, she knew it was about her. Right? I was trying, wasn't sure myself initially, but might have asked her, right? Uh huh. But she didn't have proof on the premises, but told me it could be at the apartment or the home, right? Wherever she's staying, right? So at the time, I'm thinking, trying to trust her too, right? She had no reason to lie, right? Why would she lie about something like that? Uh huh. If you're a trusting person, that isn't part of my mental illness. Is I'm a trusting person for people I just meet, right? I'm kind of one of those happy-go-lucky type people too, right? That if you tell me something, I take you at your word, right? If you tell me you're 37, you're 37, right? Even if you left your ID at home, right? I don't know. And I could be with a 37-year-old woman. I can't be with a 15-year-old girl, that right? No man over 18 can be, right, right. Mm-hmm. Anymore as well. I mean, sure, that's the law about 2020, right? I know. Even if it wasn't one before, right? Sounds like someone's trying to target me too, huh? Right? To actually finally be with an underage girl, which is something they're accusing me of, right? And I keep telling them I don't know no underage girls, personally. Even if someone in my neighborhood is underage, I, by driving down the road or walking down the street, don't know someone's age, right? Now, if someone's walking around the time people get out of school, and I see them and I say hi, or they say hi to me, right? That's all I do usually, right? I have interacted with underage girls, being that I'm a 15-year-old man, right? But I never got to the problem of having to sleep with one because she's working in the store legally, right? And should have waited a year before she started doing the job, right? And told me she was 37 years old, which is legal to be that, right? With or without ID, right? Right? I don't know. Even if she had permission to do the job or not on the premises, right? Or her boss had her paperwork there or not, right? It could have been at the home, right? He could have took it at home for some reason. I don't know. I don't know. But once she told me she was 37, I'm trusting her that's her real age too, right? Right. Would you think that was the girl that someone was talking about on the internet? 100%. Not necessarily. Her or not. Her, right? Though, of course, seducing me, right? I could have said no if 15, right? I would have, right? But if 37 and she just left her ID at home, right? I'm still letting her choose, right? But not forcing her at 37 or 15 to be with me, right? As far as this conversation is going with the other person as well, right? I'm trying to explain it to them too why I don't do that normally, right? And they don't want to hear that. They just care that the girl was really 15 and didn't tell me that till after I got out the store, right? And started talking about it, right? And I'm just saying I could have done something with her, but not sure what. And they're saying, and I'm giving possibilities, right, of what we did, right, or didn't do, right. Including that we just could have talked about it and not do nothing, right? But the problem is I don't remember what we did, right? Fully. Partially, I remember certain details, like if you interacted with someone for an hour and a half, right, or so, you know certain things have to happen in a nail salon, right? You does either your hands or your feet first, right? When doing someone's nails, and usually they start with your feet first. Wasn't my first time in a nail salon either, right? So I knew what you would do first, right? That part I remember, right? What I don't remember is why we discussed her age and where she was from further, right? And if I asked for proof of her being able to legally work in Georgia, and if she had that proof on the premises or not, right? So that was the problem with that particular salon, right? And I ain't been out because I was banned from it as well 3 months later, right? Of trying to go out to it repeatedly. And it got weirder each time I went out, right? The first time I went out, she did my nails. The second time, there was this man with a woman, and he wouldn't let the woman even touch me to do my nails, right? And then the third time, I just went in briefly and had to use the bathroom because I was having transportation problems and walked over from Walmart and was trying to see a movie that started again a little later on, right? By January, this is 12th, right? 2020. And then I go in, go get my ticket, and then have to go back because I left something in the bathroom, right? I didn't see the girl at first, but then suddenly she's there. So then I realized there must be another place for her to be, right? Instead of just at the first level of the store, right? And as we're arguing about it, they tell me about an office and the bathroom, and right, I'm not sure what happened. Right? I know, fully. But the only way she could have caused me to not remember everything is to hit me over the head with a weapon or something, right? While I'm in the store, right? Which means she got violent as well. Not me with her, right? So if you do something violent, like assault with a deadly weapon, right? As well as lying about your age and doing a job you're not supposed to do till you're 16, right? Am I the victim or is she the victim? I don't know that either, right? I'm not a lawyer. I do watch a show called Special Victims Unit on NBC, but most people don't have to deal with that normally either, right? And she would also be the only 15-year-old I was actually with that she really lied about her age of 37, right? Though I am having memory problems about relationships since then, right? One was with a girl who came by to do my cables, right? Which I didn't know would be a girl or a guy, right? I turned out it was a girl, right? And I lost about 25 minutes of time with her too, right? And then recently, back in December, I met a girl named Anna. She spilled some water. I asked her if she got a little wet, right? And then I lost about 20 minutes of time with her. Don't quite know what happened with that. Right. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Right. since that last encounter in 2019, by the way, right? November 7th, between the hours of 2 and 4 p.m., right? Almost a 2 hour window there, right? Right. So, see what I mean? Right, right. And I normally was having issues with my memory and stuff was being moved around my house from 2017, and a man named Thomas Barbie moved in next to me, right? And he had cameras all over the place, but wouldn't tell me what was going on when I asked him. I even had something weird happen with my car keys, and told him about all that. And someone might have been trying to steal them or mess with them somehow, right? Mm-hmm. And I made him aware of the situation as well. And now he's mayor of Fort Worth, I think. I don't know. Is that good or bad for me? I don't know. So there's a situation.